Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to continue talking about this editor window. I have already talked about this section. I have talked about these two sections, and then I have talked about this, and also I have talked about this. Alright, and we also talked about this section, and I said that about this we are going to talk about later when we learn constant layout. Now in this video I promise that I will talk about this section more, and I will talk about this section. Alright, so let's just start. As you can see, this section here, it holds some shortcuts, actually some shortcuts that we use most of the time or a lot of the time. For example, this button here is the run button, and this is the button that we use in order to run our application on maybe our real device or on something called an emulator, which is a virtual phone, which is something like this one. So this is the run button, and we press this one in order to run our application on a virtual device like this one, or on a real phone or tab or something somewhere else, but we run our application using this one. When we are developing our Android application, that's when we run our application using this one. Alright, okay, now this here is something that I will be showing you within a few videos. Don't worry about this one. This is something we're going to be talking about when we learn about debugging, and that's when we are going to be talking about that one. And these sections we'll be talking about later. This is also about debugging, and then this is something called a stop, and we are going to see exactly how it stops and what is stopping have what kind of impact stopping your app have on your project. So we are going to show about that. This is something that we are going to talk about later on, but for now just know that this is something called sync project, and this is something when we use when, for example, we are changing something in our build system, in our Gradle scripts, and when we do that, sometimes we have to sync our project to the new configurations. In the Gradle system, we often change the configurations, different configuration. You will see exactly what I'm talking about in later videos, but for now know that there are different configurations that we change, and when we change that, when we do that, at times sometimes we have to sync our project with that also, so to the new configuration also. So that's the button you use to do that. And this is the ABD manager. Now ABD manager is something that we are going to be talking about in detail within maybe 3 or 4 videos, but right now know that in this ABD manager we just create the virtual phones, different kind of virtual phones in this ABD manager. I mean, this is like an editor for virtual phones. Here we set what kind of resolution the virtual phone has, what screen size should it have, then what API version should it have, then what is the target API version. That is something called target API version, and what is that, we'll be explaining that, and we also edit that here, and then we also edit the CPU type here, and then size on disk, and then there are multiple other options as well here. Alright, so I will be showing these options later on, but for now just know that this is the ABD manager where we edit our where we manage our virtual phones. Alright, so that's that. And the next one is Sdk Manager. Now Sdk Manager is the file where we download different kind of files that we require. For example, there are different kind of API levels that we need to download, especially for example when you download your Android application for the first time. There are some default files that are downloaded automatically for you, but let's say you are going to do some designing work, all right, or do some advanced work that requires extra tools that you need to download. All right, let me just show you what I'm talking about. For example, you want to create something for China version, and now when you want to do that of Wear OS, you have to download this file in order to have those functionalities, to get those functionalities. Now from this section you download those files, and I will be talking about this even more in the later videos. But for now, that these are the SDK platforms, these are the SDK tools, different kind of tools you have to download for different reasons. For example, when you are using some kind of graphical debugging, then you will be downloading this section, GPU debugging. So there are different kind of tools here, SDK tools, that we download, and these here are the websites from where we download these SDK tools, SDK platforms. So that's about that. I'll be talking about this later on when we need to use this SDK Manager later. Alright, so that's about that, and this is something that we are going to talk about later, and this is something also that we are going to talk about later. Alright, so as a beginner, the things that I just mentioned, these are the only things that you need to know. Alright, okay, so the next thing that I promised to talk about is this text view. You see, designing this layout file, this layout file is here. See, I have two layouts here. One is this, and the other one is this. Now this is the one that we have been working with up until now. So let me just show you that every layout file here have two parts. So one is the design window and the other one is the text window. Now in this design window, what we do, I have already shown you that we will use these attributes and all, and there is this component tree and etc, etc, etc. But in this window, in this text window, what we do is this. You see, everything that you add here, every attribute that you might add from here or anywhere, every view that you add, every attribute that you add, every view group that you add, every position that you add, everything that you add has a coding meaning to Android, and this is that coding part. In this section, everything that you do is coded, alright, or written using code, using XML code. And interesting fact is that you might be thinking that this is too difficult and we are not going to be using this section too much because this is too difficult, but that's not true at all actually, because most programmers, in my experience, most programmers prefer to use this window rather than this window. Alright, and rather than these attributes, most programmers prefer this written part, and every changes that you bring to these sections, these writings will have an impact on these. Every changes that you bring to these using some other way will have an impact on these. Alright, so this and this are the same thing. Just for example, you wanted to add a button, right? And then you went here and you just dragged a button here, right? You just dragged a button. Now what is actually going on is this. The moment you added this button here, a button tag has been added to this section, and if you delete it here, let's say, see, the button is gone. Now also every design, every color that I added in these videos are from here actually. So how did I do that? For example, let me just show you an example. For example, this is an edit text, right? And as you can see, it has a certain color. See, see, this is the color, this is the attribute, this is the line of code that we are using in order to give it that specific color and shape. For example, if we bring it here, as you can see, the shape and color is gone. Now exactly how do we do that, I will be showing you later on in different videos, and it will take some time to show you all of this stuff, and you will not learn this stuff in one day. You will take time, so don't stress about it. But for now, just know that everything that you do here changes something here, or it brings some changes here. For example, if we I just showed you an example, let me just show you another example. You see this icon here, see, this is the icon, that is the icon. So if we actually take it out from here, it's gone. Then if we put it back, it's here. Alright, so everything. Then the edit text is this section, and the second edit text is this, and this button here is this, and this is the checkbox, this one, as you can see. And then this is the image view, this is the image view, and here we did everything that we wanted to do with these views. All right, so this is the text view, and for the last time, everything that we do here brings some changes here. And another thing is that most of the programmers prefer this window rather than this window, and this is faster, easier. When you learn about it, you will learn that this is faster and much easier. All right, okay, so that's about it, and have a good day. Take care.